Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this measure, and I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Let me start off by thanking Representatives Gallagher of Wisconsin and Swazi of New York. Mr. Swazi is a very valued new member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I want to thank both of them for their hard work on this bill, and as always, I want to thank Chairman Royce for his leadership. This is the first of three measures that we're considering today to crack down on the terrorist group Hezbollah. I've been focused on this challenge for a long time. More than a decade ago, I wrote a law to get Syria out of Lebanon, and with it, Syria's support for Hezbollah. But this is a group made up of extremists, and they will always try to find new ways to gather resources and spread their reach, all in aid of its dangerous and violent agenda, which is undermining Lebanon's political independence, supporting Iran's activities, aggressive activities throughout the region, fueling chaos and war in Syria, and threatening our ally Israel. We need to do everything in our power to isolate Hezbollah. We need to crack down on its recruiters and financiers. We need to cut off its supply of weapons, and we need to silence its propaganda machine. The three measures we'll now consider will help us meet this challenge. The first is a new sanctions bill aimed at Hezbollah's use of innocent civilians as human shields. It would ban entry into the United States to anyone who uses human shields on behalf of Hezbollah, and it would freeze whatever assets they have in the United States. This bill would call upon our ambassador to the UN to push for multilateral sanctions for the same behavior. And it would require the administration to keep Congress apprised about whether certain Hezbollah leaders would be caught up in the web of these sanctions. It's a good bill and a piece of a broader strategy to cut the legs out from under this odious group. You know, some of our friends in Europe like to say, well, there are really two parts of Hezbollah. One is the military wing, and one is the humanitarian wing. And the so-called humanitarian wing takes care of people who are in trouble, who need aid, who need help, and that's the way the story goes. The fact is, a terrorist organization is a terrorist organization. You cannot cut it in half and say one wing is good and the other wing is not. A terrorist organization is not good. A terrorist organization kills innocent people. A terrorist organization doesn't want peace. They want war. They want killing. They want people to continue to suffer. So let us remember, Hezbollah is a terrorist group. Hezbollah is primarily financed by Iran. Assad was losing the war in Syria on at least two occasions, and on those times, Syria had an infusion of Hezbollah fighters sent by Iran on the side of the Assad regime to prop up Assad. And after they did it, the Russians came in and propped up Assad. So let's remember the hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians who have been murdered in Syria, in the Syria civil war. That's Hezbollah, a terrorist organization. Bombs in Israel against innocent civilians, bombs every place else. We cannot sit idly by. And so this bill, again, is a piece of a broader strategy to cut the legs out from under this odious group. I'm pleased to support it. I urge everyone to do the same, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from